All right, what is going on, Laker fans? Thank you very much for tuning in. We're getting this up a little bit late, Sunday night, Sunday evening. I want to spend a little time getting into this Phoenix Suns move. They make a deal. They're about to make a deal for Bradley Beal. I just want to talk about what that means for the Lakers, what it means for the Western Conference, and how a lot of these teams kind of do business the rest of the way. We're not even at free agency yet. We haven't even started the draft yet. And teams already being ultra, ultra aggressive to compete. So we'll spend a little time on that. Laker fans, if you guys don't mind, if you could please subscribe to the channel, would greatly appreciate it. I mentioned this a couple days ago. I just did a video about Chris Paul a couple days ago that I'm going to be a lot more active on YouTube here and putting out some videos. So I appreciate you guys being a part of the show. Please subscribe to the channel and let's get started here. So saw this earlier today or yesterday, since it's technically Monday morning now. The Wizards, Woj put this out here, put out an article. Wizards finalizing a trade deal to send three-time All-Star Bradley Beal to the Phoenix Suns. Look at the package they're giving up, Laker fans and even NBA fans that are on this channel. I'm sure I'll get some people who just want to see what the video's about in regards to my opinion on this deal. But what did they give up? Chris Paul, Landry Shamet, and several second round picks and a potential pick swap, sources tell ESPN. This is part of the deal as well. So this will obviously land Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, and don't forget DeAndre Ayton as well, who's still on this team. And who's the head coach? Former Lakers head coach, former champion Laker head coach in Frank Vogel, who really's got some pieces to work with here. Um, let me just kind of say here real quick as I talk about the deal specifically first, and then how I think it affects just the landscape of the NBA, and also how it affects the Western Conference, and how that specifically ties back to the Los Angeles Lakers. So real quick here on the actual deal, they didn't give up anything. Chris Paul, you were already looking to have him go, and Chris Paul was basically not a part of the playoffs again, and that's been the MO with Chris Paul, who's, I want to say, 38 years old now. Landry Shamet, God bless him, is just a role player, and I know he had a couple games where he was all right, but you'll be fine without him. And several second round picks, didn't give up. It doesn't sound like they gave up much at all, and there was a reason why there just wasn't much of a market. Now, let me also point this out. Bradley Beal is owed a ton of money. Bradley Beal has $43 million on his contract, or actually that season just ended. He has $46 million on his contract coming up, then 50, then 53, then 57 on a player option in 4 years from now. And again, that's a player option, but he is only 29 years old. He'll be 33 if he takes that final year of his contract. So I do understand this is an absurd contract, because it is. But I think if, one of the things to keep in mind, number one, Bradley Beal can shoot the rock. Number two, Bradley Beal is not asked to carry a franchise. And number three, Bradley Beal's still 29, 30 years old. Now, he's had some injury issues, so there is risk in that. But I think, anybody who's watching this video knows that there are a lot of bad contracts around the NBA. And every time we say, oh my gosh, that contract can't get moved, it gets moved. So it's not, even if the Suns decided, hey, let's try this for 2 years. And then after 2 years, if this thing's not working, they could probably trade that contract somewhere else, because that's just how the NBA works. Okay, so one other thing I want to get into of why this specific deal, it sounds like, was why there just wasn't that much that they had to give to make it happen. A lot of this has to do with the new CBA that's going to take place. And from what I was reading here, as the Suns try to chase a championship here, that basically there just wasn't that much in the market. The Suns already didn't have really any first round picks, because they gave them all to the Brooklyn Nets to go get Kevin Durant. And I guess according to this article on ESPN, Beal has a no trade clause, so obviously he opened the door from that perspective. And this new CBA looming, I guess, made it a lot more difficult for the Wizards to get deals because his contract is so absurd. Okay, so this is what I want to get into. The Suns will have $163 million in salary committed to Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, Bradley Beal, and DeAndre Ayton for this upcoming season. 163 just for those four guys. So they're going to have to fill up the rest of their roster. Hell, if I were you and you could shoot a jumper and play a little bit of defense, you might as well go try out for the Phoenix Suns because they're going to have to get a lot of guys and kind of figure out how to fill up the rest of the roster. But damn, they got some players. I mean, if the guys are all healthy, that's a really, really good roster. It comes with some risk, but I get it. This new owner for the Phoenix Suns, Matt Ishbia, is not afraid to swing for the fences. He did it for KD. He just came in as an owner, and he's trying to make stuff happen for the Phoenix Suns. So, how does this have an effect on the Los Angeles Lakers? How does this have an effect on the Western Conference in general? So, this is what I would say to Laker fans and NBA fans out there. This has an effect because um, like I said, free agency, the draft hasn't started yet, and you already have one team in the Denver Nuggets, which a lot of people would agree with. Hey, this is going to be the favorites to come back next year. They're going to have just a ton more confidence. It sounds like with all the players that they have under contract, that continuity, that chemistry, all that stuff. Denver is a team to reckon with. Whether you like this Phoenix Suns team or not, they're swinging for the fences. So they're already setting a precedent the rest of the offseason that you better go get some talent or you better have a really, really good team that clicks because the Denver Nuggets and the Phoenix Suns, whether it's Denver who just won an NBA championship or Phoenix that now has three legitimate all-stars in Bradley Beal, Kevin Durant, and Devin Booker, has MVP caliber players in Devin Booker and Kevin Durant, and then a guy like DeAndre Ayton, which I don't know. Maybe they keep Ayton, maybe they try to trade him, but I'm sure Frank Vogel will try to figure out. Let's keep Ayton. We need another big. Let's find a way to use this guy, and maybe his relationship will just be a lot better than the relationship Ayton had with Monty Williams. But damn, those are already two teams. The Golden State Warriors aren't just going to sit back and do nothing. They're going to certainly try to find ways to improve their roster. Maybe they're trading some of their young pieces like Kuminga, like Jordan Poole. Maybe they're now a lot more aggressive, also looking at what just happened to the Phoenix Suns. I think if you're a team, I'm just going to kind of start naming teams as I go down the list. Memphis won't have Ja for 25 games. I still think that's a good roster when Ja's there, and I think they're still going to win games with or without Ja Morant until he gets back. They've already proved they can win games. It's more about health for them. Sacramento's coming off an incredible, incredible season. They're trying to take their game to the next level. They're trying to grow. They were actually supposedly in conversation to go try to get Bradley Beal from the Washington Wizards. Obviously, that's not happening. He's going to the Phoenix Suns. I haven't mentioned what the Clippers, if they're just healthy, and I know a lot of people are going to sit back and say, oh, okay, Al, do you really think they're going to be healthy? I don't know. They've had so much bad luck. Maybe they are healthy for 1 year and what that team could be with Paul George and Kawhi and all those other players on that roster. The Lakers obviously got to the Western Conference Finals. The Pelicans feel like if they could just be healthy, they could maybe make some noise. Minnesota will try to make some steps towards the right direction. The Spurs just got Victor or will get Victor Wembanyama once that draft hits. The Oklahoma City Thunder is a tough out as they get, as they kind of continue to grow. The West is just incredibly, incredibly stacked. And whether you like Beal to the Suns or not, I think what it ultimately does is it does make them a better team. It does make them a bigger threat in the short term. And I think it will kind of cause a trickle effect of other teams saying, well, we got to go make a move. And then we got to go make a move. So even if the Lakers ended up with the second best record in the Western Conference. When I say, oh, I'm sorry, they got the second, they got the furthest other than the Denver Nuggets in the West. That doesn't mean that's guaranteed to happen in the next in this upcoming season. And I think it just makes the path for the Lakers that much more difficult. Got to play Phoenix 4 times this year. Obviously, there's going to be some challenges anytime you go up against them, and I think it makes the path just that much more difficult for a team like the Lakers and really the entire Western Conference. And like I said, it's not just like you're not going to expect one team to just or every other team to just stop and say, okay, well, we're not going to go make any moves. No, they're going to go try to one up what the Denver Nuggets already have and what the Phoenix Suns just did. So I'll throw this out there to Laker fans. I'll throw this out there to NBA fans. What do you think of the move, Beal to the Phoenix Suns? Does this make them now the favorite with the Denver Nuggets? Do you think it? No, that's just such an awful contract that you don't like the move. And what do you think this means for the rest of the Western Conference? How this kind of shakes up for the Lakers? Me personally, I'm not paying attention to the 4 years left on his contract. I'd look at the next 2 years. That's kind of the window the Phoenix Suns are probably looking at as well. And that sounds like a unbelievable amount of talent on a roster. And it also sounds like a team that, at least in a short window, can be a really really tough out. So let me know what you think, Laker fans, NBA fans. Appreciate you guys being a part of the show. Also, I saw one piece in here just to point out. This kind of adds to that Chris Paul piece. One of the reasons that this deal could take a few days to complete will be to allow the Wizards to field offers to widen the deal to a 3-team trade to give Chris Paul the chance to land with a contender. Without another trade partner emerging for Paul, the possibility exists of the Wizards and Paul discussing a contract buyout that would allow him to become a free agent. And we've talked a little bit about that, of how the Lakers would definitely want to try to find a way to put Chris Paul on the Lakers roster. I already gave my thoughts on that in the last video I did. To just summarize that, hey, if you're not giving up really much for him and you can get him at peanuts on the pennies to the dollar, I don't have a problem with Chris Paul being a Los Angeles Lakers. So, Lake fans, appreciate you guys being a part of the video. Again, whether you're a Laker fan or an NBA fan, I appreciate you guys being a part of the channel. Please subscribe to the channel. Would greatly appreciate it, and hope you guys have a good rest of your day.